Debbie, Ralph, let's talk about what you think you need to make your lives happier and what you hope for yourselves and Joaquin and Susanna.
Well, I want Susanna and Joaquin home, and I want Grace and the others out of our lives.
Yeah, I hear ya. Having your family back together is numero uno, huh? What do you think you need or the kids need in order for that to happen? Not what the professionals have said you need?
I know that Joaquin has got to, he's absolutely got to stop getting in trouble. He's got to stop the smoking, stop hanging out with the wrong crowd, and he's got to learn to respect his mom and me.
Yeah, I want him home, but he has got to toe the line 100%. No more BS, no more trouble.
Wow, sounds like you're really exhausted.
Yeah.
He's worn you out.
Yeah, you got that exactly right. He's got to learn to take responsibility for himself.
So Debbie, I know there's problems with Joaquin, but I also need to know what you like about him. Can you help me understand what positive things he has going on in his life right now?
I don't think you understand. He is in trouble.
I know he's in trouble, but this goes back to what I was saying earlier about strengths. You see, right now, Joaquin has had plans based on what he does wrong. It's not really working for him very well. In a wraparound, we want to keep him out of trouble by building on what he does right. So I need to know what he does right. It's not that we ignore his needs. We meet those needs by what we know about his strengths and who you are as a family.
Well, he's a person who knows his own mind. He's always cared about others, but he gets in trouble sometimes. I know he cares about others. And I think he loves his dad, which is the only reason why I can even think about Ernesto being around him.
This is great. This is just what we need. So I'm going to have to spend a lot more time finding out what works for him so that we can do what's right with him and the rest of the family, and that we can get a plan to get you where you need to be. Okay. What's your best guess about what's troubling Joaquin? Why do you think he's so troubled?
I don't know.
Well, stick with it a bit. I'm sure you have a guess or two. Take your time.
Well, Ernesto hasn't really been there for him. Hasn't been visiting him much since he's been in detention.
That's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's hard sometimes as a parent not to feel guilty when we see our children suffering, even though we know we've tried our best. I know that's how I feel sometimes with my daughter. But anyway, sometimes when you're not right in it, I mean like mom is right in it, it's a little easier to see things clearly. Ralph, what do you think about Joaquin and Ernesto?
I don't know. You know, my parents split up when I was a kid, and I wound up in foster care, and it was tough. I mean, it was tough seeing fights, and I know that when Ernesto drinks, he's a pretty mean guy, and that was a really big part of it.
That makes sense. Sounds like the whole Ernesto part of life was pretty rough, huh?
I'm okay, but maybe it was rough on the kids.
So I'd like to go back a little bit and talk about strengths. Debbie, you lived with Ernesto quite a while, and you just mentioned that he's important to Joaquin. Can you tell me if Ernesto has any good qualities as a father?
Well, other than being a jerk. He always told him what to do. I mean, in that he always wanted to make sure that Joaquin knew the difference between right and wrong.
Okay. What else?
He's an athletic person, and he gave some of that to Joaquin. Joaquin always wants to be in shape, and he got that from his dad, not me.
Great. What are some of the things as a family that you like to do that's based around activity? Do you like to do things as a family?
I am way too stressed now, but before we used to do lots of things like games and running and fun. Joaquin and Susanna used to play together.
What about Susanna? I'd like to spend a little time learning about what she thinks about her brother.
She loves her brother, almost idolizes him, sort of. She doesn't really understand everything about what's happened to him. I'm worried about her.
What do you want for her, Debbie? What support do you need for things to go better with her? What do you think she needs?
Well, she has got to be able to listen and handle it when I say no. She used to have tantrums, and I just couldn't handle it. She was getting in trouble in school, too, hitting other kids, even the teacher. I had parenting classes, but that stuff just doesn't work in the real world.
Yeah, okay. So maybe some real world ideas that'll help Susanna with her tantrums and some help so that she's more successful in school. Is that about right?
Yeah, it's about right. More or less.
I'd like to spend a little more time on Susanna's strengths.
Yeah, she's a really sweet kid. I get along with her great.
They do get along. Ralph plays with her good. Ralph reads to her. I love talking to her. We just jabber away.
How do you see your lives a year or two from now? What do you hope it'll look like by then?
Well, I want the kids home.
Okay, and then what? What will it look like when things get better?
I want Joaquin to stay out of trouble. No more arrests, and stay away from drugs. That's a slippery slope. And I want them both to do good in school.
Nice. Why is that important to you?
I want them to be successful. Well, more successful than me. I just want them to grow up and not have any more problems than any other people.
Well, that sounds like a good long-term place to be. So it sounds like you want the kids back home, in school, Joaquin out of trouble, out of drugs. I want to ask you both, what are your major needs in order to get there?
Well, first, I think that we need